Hey guys, so today I'm filming my beginner's guide to makeup, eyeshadow, and palettes video. So I have to put out the disclaimer that I am not a certified makeup artist. Everything I know is from YouTube. I am taking my personal experiences based with research that I've done and recommendations from others that I trust to give you the most information. Please check the blog post I will have linked down below, which will have further information on all these products. I will give you where you can buy it, how much it costs, all the shades that these come in, so check that. And I wanted to mention that I am doing a Q&A as the last video in this series, so please leave me any beauty related question in the comment section down below so I can answer it in that video. Alright guys, so now we're going to get into the high-end eyeshadows, and there are much more brands that have great performing eyeshadows. I do have my favorites, which I'll mention. So I'm going to start with brands that have really wonderfully performing singles. First would be from MAC, of course, and this is one in a pot. You can also buy them in pan form to put into a palette. So here is what they look like in a pot, and here is what they look like in a palette. If you buy them in the pan form, you save about $5, so that's always awesome, and the palettes are very inexpensive. But I love MAC eyeshadows. They have so many different finishes, and the pigmentation is out of this world. So if there is a random color that you really want, check Inglot and check MAC because they have the widest shade range to choose from. So I love the quality of MAC eyeshadows. Urban Decay also has wonderful eyeshadow singles. Here's one I have, and I absolutely love these. Again, they have incredible pigmentation and a lot of colors to choose from. So MAC and Urban Decay are definitely my favorite high-end brands for eyeshadows. I think they perform so well. So a brand that I've heard great things about is NARS. I've heard wonderful things about their duos. Also, Bare Minerals now has pressed eyeshadows, and they have duos, quads, and 8-pan palettes. Again, I've heard great things about them, and the Bare Minerals line has some colorful shades, but they are more wearable, and the pigmentation again is incredible. I definitely want to pick up some of those. And all of the rest of the brands I'm going to mention have wonderfully performing palettes. So I already mentioned Urban Decay for their singles, but they also have amazing palettes. They come out with limited edition palettes all the time, but I'm just going to be talking about their permanent ones today. So of course you guys have probably heard about the Naked palettes. So the first one I have here is the Naked Basics, which has 5 mattes and 1 shimmery shade. Also there was the original Naked, which would be 12 warm toned eyeshadows. And these are full-size shadows, so you get a really great deal buying these. All of the Naked palettes are $54, but each individual eyeshadow costs $18, so you really are getting your bang for your buck out of these. And this is Naked 2, which is more cool tones, and Naked 3 has more pinky tones in it as well, but I don't own that one yet. They also have the Smoked palette, which is some deeper navies and greens, and they have a couple of neutrals in there as well, so that's an awesome palette. And they also just came out with the Electric palette, which is neon bright colors, so they have a good mix. The Naked palettes are incredible, and like I said, a great value. Stila is another brand that has single shadows, but I've only heard people talk about the one shade Kitten. I've not heard anybody mention their other singles, so I'm not sure how they all perform, but Stila makes wonderful palettes. They have a neutral palette called In the Light, a matte palette called In the Know, a greenish tone palette called In the Garden, and they have a more purple tone palette called In the Moment. I've heard wonderful things about all of them. So next is one of my other favorites, and that would be theBalm. They have wonderful palettes. I only have one, and this is the Meet Matte Nude. So that would be 9 matte neutral eyeshadows. They're incredibly pigmented, great for a lot of transition shade. This is my all-time favorite. They have nice highlights, some deeper colors for the crease in the outer corner. This is a great palette, super pigmented. They also have one called the Nude Tude, which is similar to the Urban Decay Naked. They also have their Shady Lady palettes, which are really awesomely pigmented shadow palettes. And they have the Balm Voyage and Balm Jovi, which actually have some cream products in there as well. But what I love about their packaging is they have an extra flap to cover the cream products to make sure that the powder fallout doesn't get into them and mess them all up. So I love the Balm's packaging as well, and their quality is awesome. Too Faced is also a great brand for palettes, and here is the only one I have from them. This is called the Naked Eye, and they have a ton, the neutral, romantic, smoky, a ton. I'll have them all in that blog post, and they are set up into 9 shadows. So you have these 3, which are larger because they are a base shadow, and they have it broken up into a day look, classic look, and fashion look. So these are really awesome as well. These are nice and pigmented. So all of their palettes are like this, except for their chocolate bar palette, which just came out and has some really nice wearable colors and neutral shades. So Too Faced has really great quality eyeshadows as well. So Lorac also has some great eyeshadows. The Pro To Go palette, which is 3 shimmers, 3 mattes, 2 blushes, and a bronzer. So that is a great travel palette because you have a lot of products compacted into one. Then there is the Lorac Pro To Go, which has a whole row of mattes and a whole row of shimmers, and they are all neutral shades. That is a really raved about palette. Then they also have the Unzipped, which is very similar to the Naked 3 because it's nice rosy tones. Kat Von D also makes awesome palettes. She has a lot to choose from. She has mostly 8-pan palettes, but she just released 2 12-pans that are butterfly themed. So those are all really great quality. I don't own any, but I've heard incredible things. So those are all of my recommendations for high-end eyeshadows. There are a lot to choose from. Like I said, Urban Decay and MAC are my personal favorites, and I also love this Meet Matte Nude palette from theBalm. So next I wanted to go over colorful palettes. So in my opinion, if you are somebody that is gonna wear neutrals on an everyday basis, I would invest in a high-end neutral palette. And if you're wanting to have some colorful shades in your collection but you won't wear them that often, I would not invest in it. This one I have here is the Manly Pro palette. I actually got this off of eBay, but it is basically the same thing as the Coastal Scents or BH Cosmetics 120 palette. So here I have 120 different eyeshadow colors. They have some neutrals in here, but they also have some really intense bright shades. So basically I have 120 colors in here, and you can see there's all the shades of the rainbow in here. They do have some neutrals, but they have great bright shades, and these are not the best quality, but if you're looking for a specific color or you're wanting to in front for Halloween or a theme party, this is great. And like I said, it's not going to cost you very much money whatsoever. So I would, like I said, if you're more of a neutral girl, invest in a high-end palette and then just spend less on a colorful palette like this Manly Pro that I have here. And if you do want to spend a lot of money on a high-end colorful palette, like I mentioned, the Urban Decay Electric palette is very colorful, but I personally would not spend my money on that. I would just buy this Manly Pro palette or one from BH or Coastal Scents. So next I want to talk about matte eyeshadow palettes. A lot of brands have shimmer, and most brands can do shimmer very well, but I did want to mention some matte palettes. From the drugstore, there's not very many. Physicians Formula has a couple different matte quad, and I've heard good things about those. Sonia Kashuk also has a 12-pan matte neutral palette that I've heard wonderful things about. And of course, my beloved theBalm Meet Matte Nude is all mattes, and they're super creamy. A lot of brands have very dry mattes that are not easy to work with. These are incredibly wonderful, as well as all the others that I'm mentioning. Kat Von D has a all matte palette called the Ladybird palette, which has some more colorful shades and neutrals. Stila has the In the Know palette, which is more warm tones and neutrals, but they are all matte. Too Faced also has a palette called the Matte Eye, and this would be great if you're looking for something that is not too intensely pigmented. Then the Too Faced one would be great for you. It Cosmetics has the Naturally Pretty palette. I've heard pretty mixed opinions on it, but it is all neutral shades and they are all matte. Also, this Urban Decay Naked Basics, I wanted to mention it because 5 shades are matte and this one is a shimmer. So I do think that this is still a great palette if you're looking for mattes. And the Lorac Pro is a great palette too because, like I mentioned, it has an entire row of mattes. In these Urban Decay Naked palettes, they have 2 or 3 matte shades and the rest are shimmer or glitter. But I wanted to give recommendations of matte palettes in case that is what you're looking for. But my favorite is definitely theBalm Meet Matte Nude. Like I said, it has great crease and transition colors. So another thing I wanted to talk about is a build your own palette. So here I have one from MAC, and also Z Palette makes them as well. I will have links for both of those in the description box. So this has an eyeshadow insert in it, but it does not have to. I bought it. You can buy an eyeshadow insert or a blush insert. But this is a magnetized palette that you can put any pan product in. Some of these products are already magnetized, and on some I had to put a magnet myself, and those are very affordable, and I really love these because I made my own custom palette. Now, my problem with investing in a palette like this is I'm probably not going to use all the shades. In my MAC palette, I do use every shade because I picked each shade out myself because I knew I would love it and wear it. So that's a really great benefit from that. And also the Z palette is awesome. It does cost more than the MAC. The MAC is $8, which is a really great deal. But Z palette is also a really wonderful one, and they have a lot of different sizes and patterns to choose from. And if you just feel like going on a depotting spree, that would be a great place to put them. There are a lot of videos on YouTube on how to depot eyeshadows and whatnot. So guys, that is basically it for my eyeshadow video. I'm so sorry that it was long. Please leave a comment down below of your favorite eyeshadows. And again, I wanted to mention that I am having a Q&A video, so please leave me any beauty related questions in the comment section so I can answer them in that video. Thank you so much for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.